Joining us now, Curtis Ellis. Curtis, a senior advisor for America First policies, and it's always good to have him on. A good friend of the John Fredericks Show. He's an FOJ friend of John, and I had a chance to watch the Trump State of the Union speech last night at the Trump International Hotel. It was like being at a basketball game. It was like the cheering there was unbelievable. It was a lot of fun. And Curtis was there, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him because when it was over, I had to, go home, go to bed, get up early. So we're going to get his reaction right now. Joining us now, America First Policies. He was on the transition team. He was with the Department of Labor. He was with the Trump campaign. He was the former executive director of the American Jobs Alliance, fighting TPP with me for 30 years. And he's on our show right now. Curtis Ellis, great to have you.
Hey, it's great to be here, John. Yeah, it's great to be here.
So I was saying last night, I had so much fun watching the State of the Union speech at Trump International Hotel with all my friends. And it was like a basketball game. Like, he would score a basket, everybody would cheer. So it was a fun environment. They had it on the big screen, and the place was packed, and everything was good except for the barbell I got at the end. Although I was able to pawn some of it off on John Whitbeck. Thank you, John. So, Curtis, what was your take on the president's speech last night?
I thought it was a great speech. Usually the State of the Union speeches are dull as dishwater. Policy lists for policy wonks. Somebody who's been lobotomized might get feel warm and fuzzy over them. But last night's speech was truly inspiring. There was emotion to it, appealing to our better sense of self, appealing to unity as a nation. So that's the positive way I'd put it. And if I want to get into the politics of it, it was, again, a master stroke. At once, this guy's a genius, I tell you. President Trump is a genius. He puts up this positive image of a unified America, pulling together. Nothing can stop us when we work together. We're one America, one family, one flag, one heart. But in doing so, it's a double-edged sword, and he was helped by the Democrats because what he was doing was putting his positive vision of unity was in stark contrast to the Democrats' vision of an ethnic identity politics-driven vision where it's not one America. It's a bunch of different competing interest groups in a zero-sum game where one group wins by taking away from another group. And, of course, as far as the Democrats are concerned, the group that always has to give it up are the white Americans or something. The dead white European males and the descendants thereof are, as Michael Moore said in the People's State of the Union the night before, the real State of the Union, we must cleanse America's soul of white privilege. And that sounds like the loony left, and it is the loony left, but unfortunately, the Democratic Party keeps drifting in that direction, step by step, inch by inch, and they've gone over Niagara Falls into the loony waters of basically hate America. If you love America in their eyes, you are now a white supremacist or something, or a racist and a xenophobe and a nativist. We've heard that, John. We've heard that for years. If you believe in borders, if you believe in fair trade for Americans, reciprocal trade, you're now like you hate the rest of the world or something. And basically, so the other vision that he put out there is patriotism. And Donald Trump, President Trump said patriotism. He didn't say it in these words. But by giving a positive vision of patriotism, it exposed the Democrats who basically believe patriotism is a dirty word, and it's bad to be patriotic and believe in America. I love the reaction. I mean, look, he got the Democrats to do his job for him. He put out a positive vision. He talked about coming together. He offered his open hand and compromise that we're not going to get everything we want, but we're going to solve the problem we need to solve. And the Democrats sat there on their hands. Nancy Pelosi looked like she was sucking on a lemon, and Cory Booker looks like the gerbil that he sat on bit him. I mean, this is like the worst-looking crowd of miscreants I've ever seen. And when you've got the parents, those poor parents who got that extended ovation, the parents of the kids who've been killed by MS-13 gang members, and they're black, they're Hispanic. The parents are not Norwegians, folks. You can tell by looking at them. They ain't from Norway. And the Democrats wouldn't stand up. The Congressional Black Caucus sits there, stone-faced, on their hands. That was just, I mean, that said everything. That the Democrats will destroy this country if that's what it takes for them in their quest to get power. They do not wish us well. They do not wish you well. They do not wish the people in this audience well. They just want power, and they will do anything to get it. It was an incredible display last night on live national television for the whole nation to see. The Democrats did not do themselves any favors whatsoever. Donald Trump did himself and this country a great favor.
Well, and I agree with you 100%. I really think the Democrats did themselves a lot of harm last night. I can guess, armchair quarterback, and I can kind of figure out what they were attempting to do. But sometimes you just try, so it just backfired. I mean, it was even beyond a backfire. It was a boomerang of a bazooka that just came around and blow them up. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. I mean, this is like, I was saying this earlier. This is like you're watching a football game. Your team is up by 2 touchdowns, and they're on the 5-yard line with the 1st and goal, and they fumble the snap, and the other guy runs it in for a touchdown, and then they're back in the game all of a sudden instead of the game being over. I mean, what they did to themselves last night was incredible. The image of the Nancy Pelosi in the black dress, it was like, you know what? It was like, we want you to be miserable. If you can be miserable, we can get power back. We don't want you to get a raise. We don't want you to get a job. We don't want your kid to move out of the basement. We don't want you to get a bonus. We don't want you to get a tax cut. We don't want your 401k to go up. We don't want you to have a retirement. We want you to be miserable like us. Vote for us so we can all be miserable together. It was an incredible display last night. I was dumbfounded by it. And they kept doubling down, like you say, and tripling down. And today, it's like I've got CNN on, 5 minutes on a speech, and the whole show, guess what? Trump and Russian collusion. He didn't say anything about Russian collusion. How can you make a speech and not address the Russian collusion? He didn't say that. And there's a report that says somebody in the White House leaked. He's still thinking about firing Robert Mueller. What the hell does that have to do with anything that was said last night? I mean, they're in a panic. Curtis, for the first time, I feel like we're going to turn the corner and hold the House in 2018 based on last night, because they have in fact, I was saying a week ago, they have no message other than Trump sucks. Now they do have a message. Let's get all back to the pit of misery and have no jobs and be broke and vote for us. That's their message.
They got, as we saw last night, that was the opening of their Democrat 2020 campaign for president. They've got their presidential campaign. They have their candidate picked. It is prune face for president. That's it. Vote prune face. Prune face for president, the Democratic candidate. We will make you miserable.
That's the slogan. Prune face for president. Remember, Prune Face was the cartoon character in Dick Tracy. Remember?
That's right.
We got to go back a little bit.
Google images.
Prune face
for president.
We will make you miserable too. And it's like the president up there saying, "Dilly dilly."
It's like, we're in this together. Misery loves company. We're in this together.
I mean, if you're one of the 50 million people watching this last night and looking at these Democrats, and things in your life are going better because of this economy, no question about it, and you're just getting your paycheck tomorrow, you're going to get an extra, $80, $100, $50 in it on your 2-week cycle. And then you looked at these miserable faces last night of these miserable looking people. I mean, you've got to say, I'm going to put this group back in charge of my economic prosperity future? Are you crazy? It's like the pit of misery, all of them. It was so bad. All they had to do last night was clap at the appropriate times, smile, cheer the economy, and then say, we can make it better. Instead, they give you Chapstick Joe. I mean, what a Democratic absolute 24-hour debacle yesterday. I've never seen anything like it.